So I'd like to focus on one dialogue in this week's Torah portion. We know Jacob's about to meet Esau. He goes to sleep at night, and then there's this angel slash person that, they struggle towards dawn. And then there's a very perplexing dialogue. Right, the guy's he's got to go, because he's an angel, got to go bless God. And just before he leaves, what does Jacob say to him? He says to him, bless me. Like, that's what he wants. And that in itself is an odd question. Like, why bless him? It's almost as if Jacob doesn't feel that the blessings of his father Isaac worked. Otherwise, why are you coming right? And especially because Rashi tells us that this angel is the ministering angel of Esau. So Jacob doesn't feel that the blessings are working for whatever reason. And so he says, bless me. But then notice now how the angel does a tikkun, makes Yaakov do tshuva, is what I think.
Wow.
And then, what does the angel ask Jacob? He doesn't bless him, right? That's what he asked for. But what does the angel say to Jacob? He says to him, tell me your name. And he says, Jacob. And then the angel says, okay, so now you're no longer Jacob, you're going to be called Israel, which is like Rashi tells us a prophecy that God later on in the Torah portion will call you Israel. And notice that then what does Jacob do as response? Remember, Jacob initially said, bless me. Angel doesn't bless him. Angel says, what's your name? And then he tells him his new name. And then Jacob says, well, tell me your name. And the angel says, forget about it, like it's not relevant. And then we're told that he blesses him. And this is very odd. Right? So why is he asking for a blessing? So it doesn't seem he thinks Isaac's blessings worked. And then after he asks for a blessing, why does he continue with this dialogue of once the angel asks him his name and explains his name's no longer Jacob, why does Jacob not respond by saying, can you just bless me? Why does Jacob say, what is your name? And I think the reason is because what is haunting Jacob is this idea of untruthfulness and names. Remember that the bracha he gets from Isaac is not when he's being called Jacob. The father, Isaac, says to him, is this Esau? And Jacob says, it is I. And for much the same way, when he's in his, wedding night, he's in bed with what he thinks is Rachel. Had he only asked her, had he only uttered her name, said Rachel, instead of Leah, he would have understood. She would have had to say something. So Jacob understands that this angel's come, Esau's angel has come to help him do tshuva. So be a straight shooter. And straight shooting begins with identifying what is in front of you and naming them. And I think the culmination of this comes about towards the end of the Torah portion, where Rachel dies giving birth to the last child, to Binyamin, and she calls him Ben Oni, like the son of my difficulty. And then we are told, for the first time, that Jacob names the boy Binyamin. This is the first son that Jacob actually names. Why all of a sudden is it important for Jacob to name his child? Because he understands the importance. And from here, one could argue, you can, like Jacob's character more or less, he becomes more of a straight shooter. This ministering angel of Esau has done something to him by this understanding of your name. And I'll just wrap it up by saying it's fascinating that the Haftarah we read in this week's Torah portion, Ovadiah. So Ovadiah is the one prophet, we have no idea who he is. And it's almost as if, and we are told that he is a ger. He has done tshuva. He's one from a descendant of Esau, which also is interesting in terms of the names. Thoughts on the Torah portion of Vayishlach. Shabbat Shalom.